What's up, everybody? I wanted to talk to you guys today about cutouts. When you're doing honeybee removal and rescues, there's two different categories that they fall into. They're either swarms, well, three. There's three categories: swarms, trap outs, or cutouts. Which trap outs and cutouts are they fall under the same umbrella. Swarms are pretty self-explanatory. You see a swarm, a group of honeybees clustered somewhere, and you just go pick them up. You go collect them. A lot of times, um, if they're on a branch, you can just shake them down into your box. Sometimes they do land on the ground or in lower areas. In that case, you can just set your box next to the hive, and a lot of times they'll just walk on in. Cutouts, though, are the main thing that I want to talk about. Um, we are at that point, that time of the year, where homeowners will start to figure out if bees, honeybees, and wasps and hornets have made it through winter, survived somehow either in their walls or in their insulation, their attic somewhere, and made it through winter. They'll start noticing a little bit more activity as the temperature goes up a little, and things, especially as things start to bloom, you'll notice it more. But with cutouts, the best thing to do is locate the entrance. If the homeowner can see where they're coming and going from on the outside or wherever you see them from, that's the best thing to do. And just snap a picture. It typically lets the beekeeper know about how high up they are, what kind of gear and things are going to be needed. So when you call a beekeeper to handle that situation, try to get a cell phone number or something along those lines, a messenger number or some sort, where you can send them that picture. So you locate the entrance. Typically, on newer houses, you have to take down some siding. On older houses, if it's like the cedar shake shingles, the staggered things, that's a little bit different. But typically, the vinyl siding, you just take down a section or two of vinyl siding. I do it up enough to give me about 10 inches up, maybe about a foot or so, enough to really get my hands in there where I can work. And I cut an access panel about 10 inches up after the siding has been removed, typically about the width of the stud bay. On most houses, that's about 12 inches or so. Some it's 14. On older model houses, it can even be up to 16, but that's because they've been renovated or were built before certain regulations and inspections were standard. So then you cut your entrance, and once I have the entrance cut, I look for the queen as I work the hive. I have a bee vac now, which will make things a lot easier. And with that, I can collect the bees as I look for the queen. So it'll cut down the working time that I spend chasing the queen. It'll make it quite a bit faster. Once enough bees are removed that I can access some of the comb, I cut it down to size to fit pre-fit frames, and I rubber band it inside of the frames that I'm going to use. I first start with the brood comb if I can, and I save as much of the brood comb as possible. That's the most important. Then I go through the honeycomb, and I do that last for a couple of reasons. I want to save as much of the brood as possible, and I may run out of space before I get to the honey. So that's the main thing. And then the honey cutting into that gets very messy. So I don't want that running down on everything and causing a big mess. I save as much of that as I have space for, and then the rest of it I throw in a big bucket to take back to the orchards and feed back to the bees. Once that's done, I remove as much of the junk comb as I possibly can and kind of clean everything out as much as possible, clean as much of the propolis out of there as I can, and then let it air out for a little while. And I like to spray things down before you seal them up with a diluted bleach spray. Almost got it mixed up there. Kind of spray it down a little bit. That just prevents any microbes and potential mold growth in the future. And it also helps kind of eliminate that smell and the pheromones in there. Kind of helps cut that down. So I would recommend airing it out for about a day or so, not too long, because then you'll get other critters that may want to make a nest in there, like squirrels or birds or something. So then it's pretty easy to just kind of fit that panel, that access panel that is cut out, right back up into its space, put the siding back up, and you're good to go. So that's a really easy kind of cutout removal process. But that's what needs to be done when you see honeybees coming going from, especially from a building. I don't recommend spraying, and I'll get into that in quite a bit more detail here in another video. But I definitely don't recommend that because you don't solve your problem in the long run. You may eliminate that colony, that specific colony, but the pheromones are still there, so it's going to draw in other colonies. Without the bees there to monitor the comb, it's going to crack and leak. It's going to leak through your walls, going to draw in other pests like possums, raccoons, squirrels, chipmunks, ants, beetles, cockroaches, all kinds of things. And that's just not good. So I don't recommend spraying them. And in the end, you're still going to have to cut an access panel and get that comb and that honey and everything out of there. Excuse me. So you might as well just do it right the first time. That's my little PSA, and I will get into the negative effects of spraying in another video. So if you have any comments or questions, definitely let me know. And if you think that I left anything out, definitely let me know as well.